often see much like that round Liverpool. Brought up there, were you?
Hmm?
Liverpool. Did you grow up there?
There is some country if you go outside the city, you know.
You go outside of anywhere, you'll find countryside. This is outside your own front door.
You own a front door. I do.
I was brought up in a slum myself, you know. I'm not ashamed of it.
I was brought up in a fine detached house with a garden, and my parents had a pre-war Riley 16. Not many people had cars in those days.
Few were brought up
My
like
parents
that.
were God-fearing, regular churchgoers. Mr. Ruskin was our curate. That's how I came to know him.
Oh. You had a good, happy childhood, then. More than I can say I had.
Well, even God-fearing worshippers are human. When I was 14, there was a great row. Well, details are boring, but it ended in the divorce court. What's that?
I've come across that before.
Oh, girl's shoe. Doesn't look worn much. To be thrown away, I mean.
Oh, well, it's a quiet spot. I dare say that... Well, speaks for itself, doesn't it?
I wonder if it spoilt her fun, having to hobble home.
Well, there's a tale there, I suppose.
Couldn't have been easy. Arriving home with one shoe missing. What would she tell her parents?
Oh, I bet she found her way over it. Oh, see that? Pied wagtail.
I'm always impressed when anyone knows the name of a bird. Do you study them?
Well, I've taken to watching birds a bit. Very relaxing. I never have thought it. That's how you learn, I suppose. I don't want to pry. You lost your husband, didn't you?
Yes, he died.
Never had any children?
Yes, I had a boy. He died the day after he was born.
Well, that's it then.
Ah.
It rings, you know. You don't have to stand there waiting for it to go off.
Well, who's likely to ring us anyhow?
Even if they wanted to, they couldn't. Nobody even knows our number.
Another job for me, I suppose.
Well, answer it, can't you?
Emmerdale Farm Limited. Oh, all right. Telephone engineers, just testing.
Well, now you know it works, how about a cup of tea?
What about these cards we have to send
Oh,
out?
I'll see to them. We ought to keep a list of calls we make. See they don't overcharge us.
You could telephone Henry Wilkes. Tell him it's in.
Oh, that's a good idea. What's his number?
My old army number, I always remember that. 6 3s and a 2, that's how I remember it.
Remember what?
My old army number, 6 3s and a 2, 2 3s are 6, 6 3, see?
6 3s is 18.
I know that, but 2 3s are 6, aren't they? Well, 6 3s.
I don't know what you're on about.
My old army number, that's how I remembered it.
182.
What?
Henry Wilkes' number.
Tea not ready?
We should learn to use bathroom.
I'm in a hurry.
Where are you off to, then? Left Matt to get on with it on his own as usual, have you?
Upstairs, is she? Penny, going fishing again. I'm teaching her.
Well, happens she's gone off the idea.
Why, what's that mean?
Well, she left here half hour back. She's gone down to Frank's place to see our Jack.
That's it. 4 gallons, 142.
What time do you finish?
I'm my own boss.
How about giving me a job? I've done it before. On the A5, a place called Brown Hills, when I dropped out of college.
I suppose one has to land somewhere.
I was broke. Anyway, I only stayed for about 3 weeks. Boss's wife wasn't tuned in.
Come on in.
Why?
It's all right. I haven't got a wife.
Oh, you're back early, love.
Finished on top. I thought there might be a cup of tea going.
Finished for the day, have you?
Oh, not by a long way. Joe off courting.
Ah, Matt.
Hey, I thought you'd gone
You
fishing.
got Land Rover down?
Oh, it's outside.
Keys?
Well, they're in it,
Right.
but...
It's like I said. Just same as last time. Different girl, that's all.
I'm always nervous, especially making them to sell.
They smell delicious. But you better watch that oven. It gets very hot.
Well, it should be about another 5 minutes yet, but... Well, I'd better be sure.
Hello, love. That smells good.
Alison's making sausage rolls for the wool pack.
Ah.
She seems to have taken over the catering there.
There's Mrs. Ferris to see about the MU Bazaar.
I could do that. You look tired.
The child cried the whole time.
Don't they usually?
I am, I suppose, a doorkeeper in the house of God. Should I let in all who seek to use his house, irrespective of intention?
You mean if they want baptizing?
In a way, but... Oh. That for the altar?
It was cold in the church, so I thought I'd do it in here.
Yes. It is cold in the church. The house of God's a cold house. Perhaps that's the trouble.
You are tired. Sit down. I'll make you some tea.
Thank you.
You were right. Another minute they would have been burnt. Would you like to try one?
I was just going to make some tea.
I'll do that. Careful, they're a bit hot.
You know, Alison went to Leeds with Mr. Wilkes on Monday night. I think she quite likes him.
Good, good. It might help her if she married again.
I wish you'd tell me what's the matter.
Oh, love, I wish I could. It's difficult to know. Difficult to put into words, even to myself. It's a matter of faith, of vocation. 2 years ago, I married the Osgood's, remember? I've just christened the first child. In between the marriage and the christening, they've not been inside the church once. Not once. The godparents, John Dowbig and Mary Inskip. I address them. I ask them if they believe in God, if they believe and respect the tenets of his church, and to this they reply, all this I steadfastly believe. I don't recall ever seeing them inside the church before.
But they came, Edward. Surely that means something.
Yes. It's what it means that I'm most afraid of. That whereas I thought I was a priest of God, I'm just an official. For convenient social occasions.
Here we are.
Oh, I hope Mr. Braley appreciates the help you're giving him.
As a matter of fact, I wanted to have a word with you about him. He's asked me to live in at the Woolpack. Do you think it's wise?
So you're in charge here then till next Tuesday?
A week next Tuesday. Unless, of course, they hate Spain and come back early.
Will you be sleeping here as well?
I promise to keep an eye on things. And the amenities here are better than those at the mill.
You were very good to my father. Why?
No reason. Because there was no intention. We just happened on each other.
Most people used to kick him out. Or else tell him to move on.
I'd like you to tell me about him.
You've got a customer.
There's a bell if they want service. Do you read much?
Not a lot.
What do you do?
For cakes.
Yes, if you like.
I look at things mostly and wish I could paint them. Hi, Joe.
Too busy, I suppose, are you?
What's that supposed to mean?
I'm talking to her.
Joe? No, I'm not busy. What's the matter?
We were going fishing, remember?
Oh, Joe, I forgot.
Thanks. Thanks a lot.
Best let him simmer down a bit. He's not in the mood for listening. Poor Joe. He's a right talent for backing wrong horses.
Have nothing, so I had to do something. Can't have the bar without food, can we?
I'm not running a restaurant, you know. This is a pub.
It's going to be a hotel.
That part'll be. This'll still be for selling beer.
No pub can survive nowadays simply by selling beer.
I've survived, and there's been naught but crisps here since I can remember.
Mind you, sir.
Well, all the rolls went at lunchtime, didn't they? Doesn't that prove there's a demand for food at the bar?
I give you midday. Folks come in for a quick snack and a pint rather than bother with a big meal. But it's different in the evenings. They go home to eat and then... What's that?
Keep them warm. Mrs. Ruskin kindly lent it to me.
Oh, I don't know. You'll turn place into kitchen soon.
Well, they're still warm, but when they're really hot, they're best. And you want your customers to have the best, don't you?
It's not worth the trouble.
Well, you could make more profit out of those than from the beer. At 5p each, you can make...
5p each for one of them?
It's what they charge anywhere else for a sausage roll.
But them are homemade. I'd not have nerve to charge any of my customers 5p for homemade sausage roll.
Then give them away as a service.
Come on, Amos.
Oh, all right.
Ah, just the job. I'll have a couple of those. And a bottle of special, please.
5p each.
Well, I don't expect them for nothing.
Homemade.
All the better. Unless you cooked them.
Not my line. Alison did them.
Well, that should be interesting. Well, come on, then. And the beer.
Well, I can't do two things at once.
Very good.
They're better really hot.
Hard to believe. Like cooking, do you?
It's my hobby.
What's Auntie May's address? Ollie Road, is it?
Hornbeam Terrace. Waste of time sending her one.
Oh, she might want to get in touch with us sometime, like in an emergency.
I didn't know you had an auntie. Thought Ma were your only child.
Ah, no, she's no relation. Friend of Annie's was. Kids called her auntie. Mean as they come. She'd have to be dying before she'd spend tuppence on a phone call. Oh.
There's a right lot of rubbish in this.
How can you tell?
Well, you can see it's not jointed properly. It's just plywood glued together.
Ah, but it is modern.
That's one word for it. Look at that. Slam the door and the whole thing would fall apart. There's no sense in throwing away good money on that cheap stuff.
Cheap stuff is all we can afford.
Well, you can get some good solid stuff at auction sales.
Oh, aye. Make the place look like a junk shop.
Well, beggars can't be choosers. We haven't got that much in post office.
Well, if you get it through them, you don't have to have much. Just as long as you've got a steady job and can go on paying.
Never brought out but sorrow. Pay not, never, never.
It's the only way you can pay nowadays. Price things are.
Where's Ma?
Down at Mother's Union. Get out to eat.
It's at Woolpack.
It's not all you had at Woolpack either.
That's my business.
Did you bring Land Rover back in one piece? Hey, did you put some petrol in? I meant to tell you before he went out, but you never gave me a chance.
When's Ma coming back?
How should I know?
You might have to give us a push if it runs out. You can come down to the village with me in the morning.
You can drive me to Hutton in the morning.
I'm not employed as a chauffeur, you know.
You'll have to if you want the Land Rover brought back here. I'm going upstairs to pack.
I feel the same. In fact, our feelings are almost identical. I still don't find it easy to look on my father's grave.
Is it cowardice, do you think?
Well, I can't speak for you. With me, it's embarrassment. Well, something like that.
How can the dead embarrass you?
It's hard enough trying to explain what I feel, never mind why I feel it.
Are you ashamed of being a writer? I'm not a fool. I saw you move that book earlier on. Made me curious, naturally.
Oh, it would, of course.
But I knew anyway. I'm not telling you how. And I haven't read your book. I'm not going to either.
Well, that's cleared the ground a bit. Any more questions I needn't ask?
You could ask me why I won't read it.
I'd prefer to know what brought you here, what exactly happened to your dad, what he was before his accident, he must have had an accident, why he always wore a crucifix, why your mother wouldn't marry him, and what do you do for a living?
And how many beans make 5?
Well, that's a matter of opinion. I want facts.
Anything my father didn't tell you about himself, he didn't want you to know. All right. He was on a sort of trip. But it was his own private trip. But as far as I'm concerned, it's staying private.
What about you?
You know how it is. I'm searching. I don't know enough about life yet. But I will find out.
And where do you go from here?
You could buy me a drink.
What better way to end the day? I suppose a lot of young men have taken a fancy to you.
But it never got them anywhere.
I asked for that. But I was thinking of Joe. Come on.
It's just over £120.
Oh, it's mounted up a bit since you've been paid regular.
Start easy payments, there won't be much left to put by.
Well, at least we'll have somewhat to show for it. We won't be wasting it.
Ah, there is that. It's just that...
Look at it this way, Matt. We've got to have furniture. We can't move into a new house without summit. Chairs to sit on, table to eat off, bed to sleep in. That's minimum we need, and 120 quid won't go very far on that lot.
Make a hole in it, no doubt about that.
So we've got to do it on easy payments. There's no other way.
Well, we could get some good second-hand stuff.
Oh, Matt. I don't want to be awkward, but I've never had anything new. Look at this. All my life I've lived with this stuff. I want to change. I want something that's modern, something that's new. I don't want other foxes' leftovers.
Storm brewing, I think.
I've just arrived back in time to stop one here.
I wish you'd mind your own business, Grandad.
Can't help overhearing, can I?
All the same, I wish you wouldn't try to hint that me and Peggy were rowing. We're entitled to discuss our affairs as we want to without you interfering.
Oh, we're only remarking about weather.
No, you weren't, Grandad. You got a bad habit of trying to mix things given half a chance. I'd rather you didn't try it on with me and Peg.
Oh. Well, I know when I'm not wanted. I'm going to bed. Bring me in, Coco, will you?
Oh, Matt. You put him in his place.
Oh, I didn't want to hurt his feelings. Shall I go up and...
Yeah, lad, it'll do him no harm. And he got into bed quicker than I ever managed. Beryl sends her love, by the way. Hope you're keeping well.
Did she say out about working for Mr. Wilkes?
Oh, nothing much she could say. And he kept quiet about it. I'll ask him again when I see him. Not fair to keep her hanging on.
She's not heard from Sharon, has she?
Oh, there's a mystery and no mistake. But she seems to be getting over it. Better in herself. More than could be said for Vicar. He seems like he's found weight of world on his shoulders suddenly. Is that enough cups?
Aye. You, me, Matt and Grandad.
No one else in yet, then?
Penny's not.
Oh? What about Joe?
He said he was going upstairs to pack.
Pack?
That's what he said.
Ah, he won't do out tonight. He's asked me to drive him to Houghton in the morning.
No need to get in a panic just yet, then, is there?
Come on, there. That's a good girl. Come on now, come on now. Now then, show us your faces. Now, down, miss, down, miss. Good girl, let her. Ah! That Penny didn't sleep here last night, then, eh? Hey, poor lad. He's got it bad. Oh, I'm glad I'm past it.
Didn't you learn your lesson last night from Matt?
Oh, look, if a fella can't have a joke...
There's jokes and jokes, and they're not all for laughing at either. So think on before you make some money.
Well, it doesn't stop him making jokes about Bess, does it?
He's got to learn. You're old enough to know better. Where's Matt?
Out front somewhere.
Matt? When are you supposed to take Joe to Houghton?
Well, haven't you spoken to him?
I've tried to, but he's holding his tongue. Poor lad, I don't want to press him too hard.
Well, I told him he could drive himself. Leave the Land Rover at Clay's and I'll pick it up later.
Do you reckon he'll go?
Oh, his bag's packed. He seems set on it.
Well, why is he hanging on, then?
Haven't to have a last word with Penny. Mind you, that's only a guess.
Well, you leave this and get Land Rover round. Jack's sleeping at Forge, isn't he?
As far as I know.
If he's not there, we'll call in at Old Mill. I want a word with Jack before I get to grips with Joe. I won't be 5 minutes.
Looks a bit quiet. In fact, it don't look open yet.
Ah.
Shall we go back to the mill?
Best try cottage first. You might have overslept.
Oh.
Hello, Ma. What's up?
I just... Having breakfast, are you?
Aye.
When you've done, come up to Emmerdale. I want a word with you.
Is that your mother?
Aye. Bless the marmalade, there's more trouble coming up.